अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मोकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna, and today we welcome you to this episode of the Mahabharata. In the previous episode we have seen how the Pandavas were living incognito in the kingdom of King Virata, disguised and undetected. Although Duryodhana had sent spies all over the world and they were scoring each and every kingdom, still they could not find out, they could not determine where the Pandavas were hiding and what disguise they had taken up. Almost 11 months had completed and the Pandavas were nearing the 1 year of exile incognito. Duryodhana was stepping up his efforts. He was also getting concerned that they could not find out where the Pandavas are, and he had put in redoubled efforts to find out where the Pandavas were. Somehow or the other he wanted to find them out before the time period of the exile got expired, so that he could again send them to the forests and he could live peacefully enjoying their kingdom. Now in the meantime, towards the end of the Pandavas living incognito in the kingdom of Virata, until then they had spent the time quite peacefully. Unfortunately, towards the end, around the middle of the 11th month is when Sudeshna, the queen's brother Kichaka, happened to set his eyes upon Sairindhri. And this Kichaka was a man of loose morals and he wanted to forcibly make Sairindhri his own, which she was unwilling, and the king Virata was also not strong enough, he was too weak to reign in Kichaka. Now Draupadi, having been put into this condition, she was in a dangerous situation where any moment she would have to, she could become a victim to Kichaka's lusty desires. Now what to do? She was in a great quandary, and then she thought that the only way how I can be protected is I have to take the help of my husband Bhima. So towards the evening, towards the late evening, when everybody had practically retired to their rooms and everybody was more or less asleep, Sairindhri very silently and discreetly she found her way and managed to enter into the cook Vallabha's room. And when she entered the room, Vallabha was fast asleep. She went to the room and woke him up, and she told him, "How can you sleep like this when I am being insulted in front of everyone in that assembly?" Now Bhima, who was known as Vallabha, he also got up and he told Draupadi, "I was also very upset with the way Kichaka treated you. But what to do, Draupadi? We are in this kind of situation due to what Duryodhana has done. Don't worry, we are almost coming to the close of our 1 year of exile incognito, and if we complete this term, then don't worry, we will get back our kingdom and all our humiliation that we are facing, everything will get over. I am also now unable to see how you are having to, you being a princess and a queen, you are having to work like a maid servant. This is very hurting for me also, but my brothers also, look at Arjuna, the great warrior. He is going around like a eunuch, and he is teaching dancing and music to girls, young girls. This is what we have been reduced to. All these things pain me also, no doubt. But right now we have no other alternative but to tolerate all this. Like this, Bhima tried to pacify Sairindhri. But Sairindhri, she told Vallabha that please see, it is not just tolerating alone. If you want to look at the amount of toleration, she showed her palms to Bhima, and it was full of blisters, because she had to do a lot of washing and various utensils and all those kind of things as a maid servant, and she was not used to that as a princess. Her hand was full of blisters, and she said, look at my hand, I am tolerating all this. So tolerating any personal difficulty is not an issue. But here, this Kichaka, I am sure, if you don't take any steps, if you don't prevent him, he is not going to keep quiet after what has happened today. You have seen with your own eyes how he was in the assembly, and sooner or later he will abduct me, and then he will violate me. I don't want to get into that kind of situation. The only way is that you have to take steps, and you have to engage him in a battle, and you have to vanquish him. The only way is to kill Kichaka. We have no other alternative. Because if the Pandavas were going to tell that we are Pandavas, this is Draupadi, then their disguise is blown, and they will have to go again for another 12 years in the forest exile. Now there is no other option but to kill this Kichaka. Bhima said, okay, all right, let us do like this. You go back to your quarters now. Tomorrow morning, you go to Kichaka. And then Bhima delineated to her a plan which he had formulated, what Sairindhri has to do. When Sairindhri heard this, she also felt this is a good idea, and she said, okay, all right, I will do like what you have said. And so saying, she took leave of Vallabha and she went back to her quarters. The night passed, the sun rose, Sairindhri woke up, she bathed, finished all her morning ablutions, dressed herself, and then she went to Kichaka's chambers. Now Kichaka, when he saw Sairindhri coming, he was surprised, and he thought maybe she has changed her mind. And he started thinking to her, oh Sairindhri, you have come out of your own accord. Good, 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 come. You saw what happened in the assembly. You saw how King Virata did not say anything. So although Virata is king, he is king in name only. Actually, I am the king, I am the de facto king. So you don't worry. If you become my consort, I am telling you, I'll take care of you better than my queen. You will have the position of a queen, and I will take care of all your comforts. You don't have to be a servant to anyone in future. Your future is secure. And I am Kichaka, I'm practically, I call all the shots here, so don't worry at all. Like this, Kichaka started talking to Sairindhri. And Sairindhri also, she also acted as if she was favorable towards him, and she told him, you see, that day I had to behave like that. It was not actually something which I wanted to do, but somehow things went out of hand that way. I understand your desire also. My worry was that if my Gandharva husbands come to know that we both have associated, then it will create trouble for you as well as me. So I just wanted to avoid that, that's all. So I thought over, and I also desire to have a union with you. So how to do it was what was bothering my mind. So I have thought of an idea. So immediately Kichaka got very interested. He said, oh really, oh this was the situation, then no problem, tell, we'll find some solution, we'll work out. Then Sairindhri told him, you see, if both of us, we meet in an isolated, secluded place in the night when nobody is watching, and we meet together and we unite, nobody should come to know about it, as long as it is a secluded place and not in your chambers where all servants are coming and going. Already people have seen me coming in, and nobody should get a whiff of our relationship. So if my Gandharva husbands don't come to know about my relationship with you, then things are no problem, not an issue. So then Kichaka said, so what do you suggest we do? Sairindhri said, there is the dancing hall. There is that hall where all the princesses, the Princess Uttara and her companions and all, they go for learning dance and music and all that. They during daytime they learn all their dance and music and all that, and during night time it is closed and nobody is there, nobody goes there, because it is dedicated for the princess, and so nobody else goes there, and the princess comes only during the daytime for learning. Night time she doesn't come there, so night time is completely deserted. So tonight, why don't you come there? I will also come, and then I will try to satisfy you to the best of my ability. Kichaka was thrilled. This was something which he had not expected at all. Oh, what a wonderful turn of events. He said, don't worry, Sairindhri, I'll come at the appointed time, don't worry, I'll be there. And you also, you go now and we'll meet in the evening. I'm very happy with your proposal. So like this, Sairindhri went back, and she did not like what she was doing. She was very unhappy, but what to do? This man had put her into such a situation. And so somehow she passed the time till late evening, and here Kichaka, in great anticipation, for him also time was not moving. He was every now and then looking at his watch or clock or whatever and seeing time is not moving, and then he dressed himself up very nicely and put a lot of perfume and wore fresh silk cloth and put on nice ornaments and all that, and finally the sun had set and the appointed time came. Now Sairindhri went to the dancing hall. Before she went itself, Bhima, all this was being done according to the plan which Bhima had made. So Bhima had reached earlier and he hid himself behind some curtains and all that, and he was waiting, when will this Kichaka come? Now at the appointed time, Draupadi came, and a few minutes later Kichaka also entered the hall, and then he saw at the end of the hall this Sairindhri is waiting, and he became very happy. He closed all the doors, all the curtains are pulled, nobody can see, and he said, Sairindhri, now I have come, let us enjoy each other. And at that moment Vallabha stepped out of the curtain, and then Kichaka was surprised. He said, hey, what is this? Vallabha, what are you doing here? Why did you come here? And then Vallabha said, you are such a vile person, you want to enjoy somebody else's wife. This will not be allowed today. For your offense that you have committed towards Sairindhri, you will not go back with your life. Now Kichaka was not an ordinary person. He was also extremely powerful, and he was a courageous warrior also. He was not going to get frightened by these kind of threats. He said, who are you to threaten me? Come, you want to kill me? I will show you, I will finish you today. And then both of them started a battle, and both of them hand to hand wrestling and punching and kicking and using their hands, legs. They were pushing each other, pulling, and trying to throw each other off balance, and using their fists, using their headbutting, punching, everything was going on. And Kichaka initially thought he had a lot of, he was very arrogant, thinking that he is very powerful. So he thought in no time I'll finish off this fellow. But as the fight progressed, Kichaka realized that his opponent was not some pushover. At the same time, even Kichaka was also not a pushover. He was also a quite powerful guy. So both of them were battling back and forth, going back and forth. Sometimes Bhima is gaining the upper hand, sometimes Kichaka is gaining the upper hand, and the fight was going on for almost quite a long time. As time went by, gradually Kichaka started getting fatigued and his strength started flagging, whereas Bhima's strength was he was only getting stronger and stronger, and he continued to pummel Kichaka with the same vigor as when they had begun the fight, whereas Kichaka had already started getting tired and his blows were not as powerful as it was in the beginning. Now gradually Bhima started gaining the upper hand, and finally he caught hold of Kichaka's throat and started throttling him, and then he finally flung him to the floor, and he he landed on his chest and he finally vanquished Kichaka, and Kichaka gave up his life on the floor of that dancing hall. Now Bhima was so angry, so furious that the way Kichaka had humiliated Draupadi, that he was not satisfied with simply killing Kichaka. He continued pummeling this dead body of Kichaka, and with such great force that all his hands, legs, everything got smashed, and finally Kichaka's whole body turned into an unrecognizable lump of flesh. And finally Draupadi also came, and Bhima finally, he had vented his anger and he cooled off. And then Draupadi told Bhima, now better you go quickly before anybody comes looking for Kichaka. And then Bhima also silently, he slipped away, and through some back door or something he went out without anybody noticing, and he went back to his chambers. Once Bhima had left, Sairindhri stepped out of the hall and she started walking towards her chamber, and she came across some people, some soldiers or some servants were passing by, and she said, please go to the dancing hall. Kichaka wanted to violate me, and he has met his death at the hands of my Gandharva husbands. Like that she said, and she walked away. When the servants heard what had happened, they looked at each other in great surprise, and they rushed to the hall, and they found Kichaka lying in a pool of blood, and his whole body turned into a mass of unrecognizable mass of flesh. They could not make out where is his hand, where is his leg, nothing. It was just simply a mass of flesh, that's all. The news started spreading everywhere, and everybody was shocked. Kichaka, somebody has killed Kichaka, somebody has killed Kichaka. And this news also started spreading that the Sairindhri's Gandharva husbands have come and killed Kichaka, because no ordinary man could have killed Kichaka. Kichaka was quite a powerful guy. And next day, as the sun rose, then people all started assembling, and they decided that okay, now whatever happened, Kichaka has to be, his final rites have to be performed. And then Kichaka had many followers, and all these followers, when they heard the news, they all came and they started making preparations for the cremation of Kichaka. They were all die-hard fans, they were all die-hard loyal servants, followers of Kichaka. When they heard that Sairindhri's Gandharva husband has killed Kichaka, all of these servants, they went in front of King Virata and said, see, we have heard that Sairindhri is the cause of all this, whatever mishappening has taken place, and Kichaka has got killed only because of her. So we should kill her also, we should not leave her, we should not let her go scot-free. So please give us permission, we want, when we are doing the final rites of Kichaka, along with him, we want to burn her also to death. Now these followers of Kichaka were also very strong and powerful, and Kichaka had become very powerful because of them. Now Kichaka was already killed. Now Virata was thinking that who will now protect my kingdom, and now these are his people. If he does not pacify them, they will rebel against him. So he said, okay, do whatever you want. Now for the sake of one maid servant, he is not going to jeopardize his own position. So all these people, the followers of Kichaka, they came and they forcibly caught hold of Draupadi and started pulling her and taking her away to the crematorium, saying that because of you, Kichaka desired you, and because of you, he had to meet his death. So Kichaka is going to be burned, you also go with him. So like that, they started dragging her also to the crematorium, and they started taking the procession of the dead body of Kichaka to the crematorium. Now Draupadi is in a great anxiety. Now what will happen to her? She never expected this turn of events. So now what to do? Then she remembered the code names that they had agreed upon to call each other in case of any great danger. Because she cannot now call out to Bhima. If she calls out to Bhima, their disguise is blown. She cannot call out to Vallabha. She cannot call out to Brihannala, because if she does that, then again people will start thinking, why is Sairindhri calling these people? Why are they coming to protect her? Then also their disguise will be blown. So then she remembered the code names that they had decided upon, and she started calling out, "May my Gandharva husbands, Jayanta, Vijaya, Jaya, Jayatsena, Jayatbala, let them all, may they protect me from the danger I am in, otherwise I will die." Like that she started shouting. Now, when she started shouting like this, Vallabha, who was in the kitchen or somewhere, he heard her shouting and immediately he understood, oh, this is Draupadi's voice and she is in great danger. Now I have to save her. Now thinking like this, immediately Bhima sprung into action. Now what did Bhima do? And was he able to protect Draupadi before she was taken to the crematorium and forcibly put onto the burning pyre of Kichaka? Please join us in the next episode to know about this. Thank you for joining us today. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.